everybody. Welcome to El Capitan High School, where the Vaqueros band is coming onto the field for their pregame warm-up. It is the PPR game of the week. El Cap looking for their first win against 2-0 Valley Center. And what is the PPR game of the week? We are joined by El Cap head coach Ron Wilder. Coach, what? Coach, talk about tonight's game real quick.
It's going to be a tough game. We've got Valley Center, who is much improved from last year. They were good last year. Very well coached. It's going to be a battle.
You know what, Coach? In 2001, I lost the CIF championship game on a miracle block punt on the last play of the game. Probably going to take that play to my grave. Same thing happened to you 2 years ago. You had a miracle happen at the end of a state championship game, almost on the last play. What's your thoughts on that? What life lessons?
Don't let it happen again. So, no, you know what? Things happen for a reason. I still look today that if we would have won that game, I'd probably retired maybe. So, and maybe it's God's way of saying, you know what? You're not done coaching yet. So that's how we look at it. You know what? We had a great season, best season ever here. You know, one play. Hey, it's...
Coach, I think El Cap is the perfect job. For one thing, you have one of the best preseason traditions in all of high school football with the running of the Vaqueros. We have some video of them going through down Main Street. When did this tradition start? And can you talk about how important it is to the community?
You know, when I first took over, I love the small town atmosphere, small town community, and I said, let's do something that kind of brings that together. And I'm like, well, what about announcing that it's football season? So we started off running downtown, downtown Main Street, probably 20 people outside, the parents, a few parents and all that. And it's grown into a great tradition where everybody really looks forward to it. It's our community.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the luck tonight. And you're our main game. I hope you get the first win. All right, that concludes our segment. But we're going to go north now, where Rick Willis is standing by up north. Rick, tell us about your game.
All right, yeah, we're at San Pasqual High School as Ramona travels down the hill to take on San Pasqual in our Tri-City Medical North County game of the week. There's a lot of good players on this team, including Weston Erdman, who won our Play of the Week T-shirt last week, and then another young man by the name of Tristan Stacy, who I believe it was last year, we were actually breaking down from our live shot, and the kid returned the kick, the opening kick for a touchdown, so we ended up having to get it from Ramona. But we'll have that tonight for you. Also, coming up at about 6:20, we have a young man who is now at USD. He's a redshirt freshman at USD, Jake Salahadini. Now, you might not know who he is, but you know what? He's one of my favorites because he came up with the hashtag, Who is Rick Willis? We'll talk to him coming up live at 6:20. Until then, let's head out east to Mr. Matt Gilson.
Thank you very much, Rick. We're out here at Granite Hills. They're hosting Steele Canyon in the East County Game of the Week, brought to you by El Cajon Ford. Now, it's pretty rare to have a 3-year starter at quarterback, but we actually have 2 of those in this game tonight. One of them right here from Steele Canyon, Thomas Fishburne. Thanks for joining us. Now, what is the biggest difference between the sophomore Thomas, who played here 2 years ago, and the senior Thomas, who's going to play here tonight?
So as a sophomore, it was my first time really being under a lot of pressure, and I feel growing over the last 2 years, I've really taken on a big leadership role, and I think that's going to help us tonight.
Where have you grown more, mentally and with experience, or physically in the things you can do out there?
Both areas definitely, but I have to say more mentally because, coming in there as a sophomore trying to lead these upperclassmen wasn't easy, but this year taking on that leadership role is helping me a lot.
Thanks for joining us. Good luck out there tonight, and we'll send it over to Allie Wagner.
I kept answering.
Thank you very much, Matt. I am here at Scripps Ranch High School where I've been all day. They're getting ready to face University City. I have first-year head coach Marlon Gardenera here with me, looking for that first win.
It's time. It's time. They've been working hard all summer. First 2 games didn't work out like we wanted, but I think we're going to fix some of those mistakes and come out with a victory tonight. You
guys had a ton of yards on offense last week and still weren't able to get the win. How important is it to continue that trend but then come out with the W?
Listen, we've got a great DC. So we expect the ball to move on offense, but our defensive coordinator told us it's going to take a couple games before they figure it out, but I think we may be there. So the offense will still be rolling.
Well, let's hope that pep rally got them fired up, right?
It got us up early, so hopefully we're awake and ready. That's
okay, right. We're going to have highlights.
I lost it. I'm so sorry, we're having some problems hearing here. Soderbro down here in the South Bay by the border where the Olympian Eagles are hosting the Poway Titans. Both teams enter tonight's contest week 3 at 1-1. But I just talked to Poway head coach Scott Coates. He's in his first years, got some big shoes to fill in taking over Damian Gonzalez. But he told me a few minutes ago that virtually half of his team is battling the flu and a couple starters won't be able to play. So it's going to be a tough contest for Poway. We'll have the very latest. Toss it now to Madison Sinclair. Maddie, between you and Allie, I feel like I'm sandwiched between a bevy of beautiful blondes. Take it away.
I don't hear anything.
Bring it to me. All right, we're having some audio issues, everybody. It takes an army, though, to show the PPR in the way we want to show it to you. Every one of our camera crews has a field producer. Its job is to go out and find the sidebar story that is really interesting besides the highlights. So we call them Hogcasts, and they're available at KUSI.com. You can see our entire Red Jacket Army in action. Here's a favorite of mine from last week. Here's Mary Grace Braun getting to know Gary Blevins, Mira Mesa, longtime head coach.
You're now in your 23rd year. What's your key to success?
Well, a lot of it has to do with just that we have a fantastic community in Mira Mesa, very supportive, and football's always been a big deal there. And we do it up, and we love it, and we have a great time, and school's supportive of the football program.
What is your favorite part about Mira Mesa football?
Favorite part? Actually have to be Friday nights. You know, it's like the most worked at sport and least played. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort on the kids, but Friday nights are huge, and we really appreciate you people there at Pigskin Report and kids, all excitement that goes on Friday nights.
All right, so it's KUSI.com, KUSI, PPR, and on all our social media platforms. We'll keep you updated with scores and all sorts of cool stuff like our Hogcast. And other related news. It was another bad night at the Nielsen box for the NFL. Last night's Patriots game, Kickoff Classic, had a smaller TV audience than the Kickoff Classic a year ago, significantly, almost 13% down from a year ago. And this is counting all the streaming numbers, so maybe it's the hurricane coverage. But the NFL, last 5 years, they've been each one of these Kickoff Classics a little bit smaller audience. We should mention, though, that the game was the highest rated broadcast of the night in network TV. And speaking of the NFL, Ezekiel Elliott got some good news today. Well, first of all, how about this story? The Dolphins had to leave the state of Florida for obvious reasons. So just like that, LA now has 3 NFL teams. That's right. Miami Dolphins are going to spend the week and maybe longer in Los Angeles as they get ready for what will be now their season opener against the LA Chargers. Dolphins now in LA, staying there as they ride out the Hurricane Irma. And one other bit of NFL news. Ezekiel Elliott will be active. Another court ruling in the NFL Player Union's favor. Ezekiel Elliott given a temporary restraining order. He'll probably play the entire season as the NFL tries to figure out what to do in regards to his alleged domestic abuse allegations. And then there's this bit of news. The San Diego State Aztecs have left for Tempe. Yeah, they're leaving Friday afternoon, getting there for their Saturday game. They're still 4-point underdogs. It was interesting. Listen to the media. A lot of people are pointing to this game with Arizona State as almost a must-win game in school history, at least a really, really big game. Coach Rocky Long and the players, they're not buying into that hype.
In a room with the cameras, everybody likes to hype up Pac-12 and Power 5 schools, but for us, I think we don't pay attention to that stuff. We don't really care about hype, good or bad for us. We just go out there and compete, and we're always trying to prove ourselves. So proving ourselves right is a lot more important than proving other people wrong.
That concludes our 5 o'clock look at sports. We now will have the 6 p.m. edition of the Pre-PPR coming up right after these important commercial words.